Shaun Irving, and this is the world's largest traveling camera. During the day, I work in marketing. I have a one-man agency doing graphic design and doing copywriting. And about one day a week, I devote to the camera truck project. My photographs are enormous. They're anywhere from about 6 to 8 feet wide, and they're typically about 4 feet tall. The lenses I use are uncorrected, so what happens is the center of the image typically is very, very sharp, and then it all blurs out to the side. Basically, that's the light stretching along the paper. The prints that I make, to some extent, change over time. There's always a compromise. I'm trying to keep the images properly fixed so that they'll last for generations. But I really want the work to grow a little bit. So typically, the main part of the image is solidly fixed, and the edges, you kind of leave that up to the gods and let nature take its course with that. A pinhole camera is the most basic of cameras. Basically, it's a light type box with a hole in it. The big difference between a pinhole camera and what I drive is that mine is actually a lensed camera. This is kind of how it works. What I do is I have the cargo area of the truck, and when I take a photograph, I stand inside the cargo area of the truck. Behind the driver's seat, about halfway back in the truck, there's a hole, and the lenses are mounted there. And what happens is everything that's outside gets projected through that hole, focused by the lenses, and projects inside, upside down and backwards on the passenger side wall. I have these giant rolls of paper that I use. I break them down to about 4 foot by 8 foot sections. I then clamp them onto the wall opposite the lens. I then make my exposure by uncovering the lens, cover it back up, and then can develop that paper. It's kind of fun to say that I have the world's largest traveling camera. It's been kind of an interesting talking point that's opened some doors for me in terms of getting the work shown. The first truck that I had in Richmond, I decided to sell because what I wanted to do was a camera truck tour of the Southeast. But in order to do a tour, I had to get the money for the marketing. So I sold the truck and used that money to market a tour of schools and libraries. And unfortunately, the tour fell through. So basically, I was back at square one. It takes me about a day to get a truck from truck form into camera form. It's very simple, really. What I do is I make the cargo area a light type box, and I drill a hole in the side and I mount some lenses. A lot of the time is just spent getting paper ready for it and getting everything prepared to take it on the road. Out of the blue, I got an email from an ad agency in Spain, this fellow Richard Browse, and one of their clients was Photo España, which is this big photography exhibition that they do in Madrid every year. And he told me that they wanted to bring me out there for a tour. They were going to cover all the expenses, and we were going to exhibit at the festival at the end of the tour. And they followed through with it. They ended up covering all my travel expenses, buying my paper. They bought me clean underwear when I ran out. And we ended up doing about a month-long tour. We went everywhere. We went to every major city and every little two-bit town along the way. It was fascinating to me because I got to see sort of the real Spain that most people as tourists don't get to visit. They were interesting. I mean, there were abandoned industrial sites, there were abandoned villages, there were random farms that we would end up on. We started in Barcelona, went all the way to the west coast of Finisterre, came all the way down below, and then we ended in Madrid. And we took a series of, it's about 75 photographs, and we exhibited about 15 or 20 of them at the festival there. I'd never shown any of the work before, and to go straight from that to exhibiting at an international festival was really, just kind of a jump. Most of my earlier Richmond stuff was about urban decay. That's kind of what I'm attracted to. The theme for the festival that I shot for in Spain was nature. It was kind of shifting gears creatively. I had to really rethink how I was going to shoot and what I was going to shoot. There was still a little touch of that urban decay and a little bit of sort of man's influence on the work and all of the Spain work. So even the big, magnificent landscape shots have a little bit of that. I think I'm very much drawn to the abandoned places and the stories that they tell, and sort of the history and the wear and the tear of time that comes with that. I think I like shooting that stuff because, like the work, it has a lot of layers to it, and there's just a much more interesting story to tell with that than just a pretty landscape typically.